So you want to know how to be consistent and stick to your goals? Well, you came to the right place, my friend. Hello, my loves. Welcome back to my channel where I talk all about self-improvement and becoming the best version of yourself. And today we are diving deep into consistency. And honestly, I haven't heard many people speak on this and offer this perspective, so I'm really excited to do so today. Get out your paper and get out your pen and start taking notes, because trust me, you will want to remember all of this. The days of you being inconsistent and not reaching the progress that you want to reach are over. Okay, let's get straight into it. The first piece of advice that I have for you is to focus on the process and not the product. You might think, I already know this, or I've heard this before, but do you really? Do you really understand the significance that this holds? Do you understand it to the extent that I'm trying to stress? Probably not. What I mean by this is switch the goal from being the end product to being the action. So instead of saying, I want to get fit as the goal, set the goal to be, I want to go to the gym 3 times a week. See, when you have this action as the goal, you have no choice but to do the thing and show up to the gym. But if your goal is to just get fit, you could probably pull off going to the gym 2 times a week, going 3 times a week this week, missing a week, because in your head you're like, oh, I'm still working towards the goal slowly but surely. But no, if you make it the action, you have no choice other than to be consistent with it. This reminds me of a quote from Alex Hormozy. I absolutely love him. He said, the goal is the work. And that held so much significance to me. I literally said it as my wallpaper. I will show you right now. See, I have it right here. The goal is the work. That just shows how significant it is. The goal needs to be the work, the process. If you want to eat healthy, don't make the goal as eating healthy. Make the goal to cook a nutritious breakfast for yourself every day of the week. If you want to increase your intelligence, don't have that as the goal. Perhaps set your goal to study for 30 minutes every day. Watch a documentary once a week. Listen to different podcasts. These are the goals that you should be setting, focusing on the action. So when you wake up every day, you are hitting that goal. Every day, the task is yours to hit that goal by performing the action. And of course, the end products will come. You don't need to worry about that. Focus on the process. Focus on the journey of getting there, and the end result will come. And this ties nicely into the second piece of advice that I have for you, and that is to understand that this whole journey isn't even about attaining the end goal. As much as the end goal matters, it doesn't matter as much as you think it does. It's not all about achieving this one thing. What it's actually about is becoming the person who can achieve those things. It comes down to your identity. That is the most important thing. That is the thing that would change the way you see everything. That is the thing that will force you to become consistent. Remember, the external doesn't matter. If you watch me often, you know I say the external circumstances don't matter. It's the internal that matters. It's your own personal growth, your own inner world. That is what matters. You can lose all the weight that you want to lose, but you can gain it back so quick. You can make all the money that you want to make, but you can lose it just as fast as you made it. The external doesn't matter. But what does matter is you becoming that person who can attain these things by creating a healthy lifestyle for yourself, by building good financial habits for yourself. Let me say it again, it's not about the end result, it's about the person that you become on this journey. I think that this is the biggest reason why people fail to reach success when it comes to chasing their goals. It's because they place all the focus on the end result. They're just chasing this thing in the far future, when really, they fail to realize that it isn't about the goal, it's about the identity. My goal is to become one of the best self-development creators on this platform. That could mean gaining heaps of followers, getting lots of views, gaining lots of money from this online business. It's not actually about how big the platform is. It's not actually about the views on the videos. It's about becoming the type of person that can offer that much value that millions of people would listen. It's about becoming that type of person who will do all of the internal work, who will do all of the learning and the reflecting, to be able to share wisdom with you. It is about becoming the type of person who will outwork everybody else in order to make sure I am delivering quality content. Do you see? It's not about the numbers of the goal, it's about who you become in the process. It's about becoming the person who can do these things. It becomes a lifestyle. When you commit to a goal and you create that vision of what you want your life to be like in the future, that is your lifestyle now. From this point onward, you have to shift your identity from somebody who is trying to do these things to somebody who is doing those things. Does that make sense? For example, when I made the goal of creating content, I didn't think, oh, I'm going to make videos here and there and I'll see how it goes. No, I said from this day onward, I am a YouTuber. Even though that felt so weird and uncomfortable to say because I was so small and so new and It was very unfamiliar to me. That is the mindset and the approach that I had going into it, because I understood that if I wanted to be consistent with this, I have to adopt the lifestyle of a YouTuber. That means I have to get used to filming, I have to get used to scripting, I have to get used to editing every day. It's not something that you can pick and choose to be consistent with. You are subscribing to a lifestyle because you are creating a new version of yourself. You are stepping into this new identity of somebody who is working on this goal or has achieved this goal. And if you are rooted in this identity, you have consciously made that mindset shift of, okay, I'm stepping into this new identity. I'm embracing this lifestyle. I want to do this, which means I have to take these actions daily, and this is the type of person that I'm going to become from it. Placing all of your focus on the process and your own personal growth. How can you be inconsistent? How could you be inconsistent if that is your approach to it? When you set goals for yourself, it's almost like you're jumping timelines, you're jumping different realities. You just unsubscribed from your previous one and subscribed to a new one. The way you did that was through intention and action. You set the vision, I'm going to seek out this goal, and this is what I'm going to do to get there. This is the type of person that I'm going to become. Every action that you take that gets you closer to achieving that goal, you are becoming more like the person who would achieve that goal. You are just becoming that person, you're becoming that girl. I'm telling you, understanding that this is an identity shift. It's not just, I'm going to do a couple things here and there to try work on these goals. No, you are shifting who you are as a person. Before, you were not fit. Now you are fit. That is an identity shift. Before, you didn't have a business. Now you are a business owner. That is an identity shift. Before, you never meal prepped. You didn't even know how to cook. Now you spend a lot of time in the kitchen, prepping meals for yourself, caring about your health, learning about diet. That is an identity shift. You are working towards becoming a different version of yourself. This version of yourself is healthier. This version of yourself is wealthier. This version of yourself has more knowledge, is more capable. Okay, the next tip that I have for you is to build habits. You have to force yourself to repeat a task enough times that it becomes a habit. This applies in the beginning. Where you are learning to be consistent, you just have to force yourself to create these habits, okay? Brutal force is the only thing that's going to get you there. Because as much as I can try and motivate you, you just have to conjure up the discipline to do it. It's not that hard. You will be okay. You'll be able to do it. I believe in you. But you must build these habits. Because of this, in my own life, I no longer have to force myself to journal. I don't even have to think about it. It's like an automatic response. And that is the beauty of habits. See, I used to go about dealing with my emotions in a much more unhealthy way, not gonna lie. But I worked on building that habit of journaling and sitting with my emotions and allowing myself to cry and allowing myself to feel through it, because I know the only way to heal is to feel through what you're going through. Once I repeated that behavior enough times, it became a habit for me. And now this is just normal. This is just part of my identity. It's part of my reality. It's just what I do. It's no longer difficult for me. And it's so much easier now. So much easier. I know, however, that building habits can be a bit difficult, so I have some additional tips on how to build habits specifically. First of all, start very small. Begin with tiny habits that are easy to accomplish. Like if you want to read more often, read 5 pages a day until you get used to doing that every day, and then build it to 10, build it to 15. Same thing if you want to meditate. Just meditate for a couple minutes. You don't have to be doing 30-minute meditations because you set the goal of becoming more spiritual or becoming more mindful. You can start very small, and as you get used to it, build up your way. Like when I started going to the gym about a year ago, I wasn't really focused on optimized training sessions or working out really hard with high intensity. I was just trying to show up. I was just trying to create that habit, get myself used to going. And then once I was used to going and it was habit and it just was routine for me, that's when I started working hard and being more intentional. But it all just started with me showing up. And even now I have days where I don't want to train till failure. I don't want to put in that much work. Some days are purely just for the sake of showing up because I have built that habit within myself. As long as you show up for yourself in these small ways, you are still reinforcing that habit. Another thing you can do is anchor your habit by pairing it with an existing cue. So for example, if you want to read in the morning, you could leave your book on the kitchen counter. So when you go to make breakfast, you see it there and you're like, oh, that's right, I need to read while I have my morning coffee. Just little things like that. So linking your habit to something that you already do is so helpful when it comes to reinforcing that habit and instilling it in that brain of yours. The final little tip that I have for you for habit building is to celebrate your progress. Because I know that taking action and building new habits and changing your way of behaving isn't the easiest thing to do. So make sure that you're acknowledging how hard you are working towards these things. Celebrate yourself. If you go an entire week performing every single one of those habits that you set out to do, celebrate yourself. Just make sure that you're really recognizing your progress, because this encourages you to keep going. Okay, that's all that I have for your habit building. With those little tips, you should be able to work really hard on building those good habits, and that will definitely help you be consistent. Because once something is set in routine, maybe you don't even need to worry about it anymore. That's just automatic. That's just going to happen regardless. The next tip is to hold yourself accountable. Now, I know people don't really like this one because it requires you to own up to your own shit. But here, you have nowhere to hide. And yes, I'm talking to you. We are going to own up to your shit. You gotta understand that you are not where you want to be because of yourself. It is quite literally your fault. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It is your fault. You aren't as fit as you want to be. That's on you. You don't have as much money as you want. That's on you. Any goal that you haven't made any progress towards, that's on you. You have to take accountability for everything in your life. Yes, sometimes external circumstances can weave their way in and fuck up our plans, but there's always ways around that. You can't blame anything else other than yourself. Now, this doesn't mean beat yourself up about it if you haven't accomplished what you want to accomplish, or if you have been slack in the past. It's okay. Shit happens. We move, we learn. This is literally how we learn. You don't need to beat yourself up about it. But at the same time, don't go blaming external circumstances, saying, oh, I couldn't do it because I didn't have enough time. Oh, I was just so busy. Oh, I couldn't do it because of this and this and this. No. I don't want to hear any more excuses. We're done. Excuses are done. If there is a will, there is a way. If there is a will, there is a way. You can always work around things. Truth is, your goal just probably wasn't that big of a priority to you. And that's okay. Now we know. And we can be aware that if you want to actually be consistent to this goal, it is going to have to be a priority to you. It's going to have to move from the bottom of the list to the top of the list, okay? Because I'm sure you had time to scroll on your social media. I'm sure you had time to go out with your friends. I'm sure you had time to stay up late watching movies. But you didn't have time to work on your goals? Interesting, huh? Another thing you can do is tell somebody else so that they can hold you accountable, which is so great because sometimes we like to cut ourselves slack. You will be more encouraged to be consistent. So if you have somebody that can check in with you and make sure that you're on track, that's amazing. Utilize that person. Another really good tip that I have for you is to make it very easy for yourself. What I mean by this is identify and remove any barriers or resistance that you have towards your goal. So if you are a forgetful person, set reminders on your phone. Leave notes around your house. Do whatever it is that you need to do to make sure that you will remember. Make the process as easy as possible for yourself. Anything that will help you remember to do the thing that you need to do. Like set your gym clothes out the night before. Leave your book on the counter to read. Set up a nice workspace for yourself if you want to be productive. If you make it extremely easy for yourself, it's going to be so hard to not do it. There will be no reason to be inconsistent. Final tip that I have for you today is really important, and that is to spend time reflecting on your behavior and why you are lacking consistency. Call yourself out on your own bullshit. We're not going to let that inconsistency slide any longer. We're not going to shove it under the rug and say, oh, it's okay, my behavior's in the past, I'm going to be better now. No. Let's remove that rug and see what was going on. Let's actually face it head on. Why have you been inconsistent? Why haven't you been working on your goals? How bad do you actually want this thing? Are you too comfortable in your current situation? What have been your priorities in the past? And what do you want them to be in the future? How does it make you feel when you are inconsistent? Sit with these feelings, allow them to be, don't brush them off. Let's explore this. Do you think that you deserve this lifestyle of commitment to your goals? Are there any underlying self-love or self-worth issues driving this pattern of inconsistency? Are you self-sabotaging? These are the things that we want to ask to get to the root of the issue. And it's great food for thought. The more aware that you are, the better. Not only do we want to take action towards our future selves, we also want to understand why we have been behaving the way that we have been. If there is an underlying issue, you have to work on that as well. Never ever neglect the inner work. Shining a light on these things helps you understand what you need to do in order to move forward. For example, if there are some self-worth issues, then you need to do some internal work to heal that. If you have just been blaming your busy schedule, then you need to do some work on your time management and shifting your priorities. It is so important to understand what has been going on within us so that we can make the appropriate changes that we need to make for ourselves. This is a really good starting step. A lot of people, they're like, oh, I just can't focus on my goals. I'm just not motivated. I don't know how you do it. How do you do it? Maybe figure out why you are like that. Why is there resistance to working on the best version of you? Why is there resistance to allowing yourself to blossom into literally the dream version of yourself. What is causing this? When you become aware of these things that we typically overlook, we typically don't take the time out of our day to sit and journal and deeply reflect about these things. But when you do, you have increased awareness that allows you to move differently in the future. Because you will recognize when these patterns come up, when these thoughts or behaviors come up, and you will catch them this time. You will no longer let these subconscious behaviors. You have a lot of power over your behavior because they are really sneaky, these things. Your own internalized beliefs and values and issues and all that. All of those subconscious beliefs that you hold within you that are manifesting through your behavior, they are so sneaky. But once you shine the light on them, it becomes so much easier to catch them in the future. And that's where the real change happens. So it's not just the external of doing the action, it's also the internal of understanding why you are the way you are and understanding what steps exactly you can take in the future to change this. With all of these tips now in your awareness, there is no reason to continue being inconsistent. I have just spilled every damn secret in the book. So you best believe you're going to get on your shit and start working on your goals and making yourself proud. I want you to make a promise to yourself that you will show up for yourself every day and you will commit to this journey. I am rooting for you and your future self is rooting for you. Ask yourself every day, how can I show up for myself today? How can I make myself proud today? And then from there, literally take it day by day. Don't focus too much on what you're going to do in a month's time. Don't focus too much on planning ahead and strategizing. Literally just take it day by day and ask yourself, what can I do that'll bring me just that little bit closer? As you do that every single day, before you know it, you're going to be consistent, you're going to have built these habits, and you'll be closer to becoming that person that you've always wanted to be. And you will really settle into the identity of somebody who is consistent with their goals. And then you will build confidence and it will reinforce your self-love, and then it'll be this beautiful journey of growth for you. That is all that I have to say for today's video. That was a lot. That was a lot. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I love you so much. If you want more self-improvement content from me, check the links in my description for my socials. And I also have an Etsy store filled with digital journals, workbooks, affirmation cards. I actually have a digital goal setting workbook, which goes so well with this video. It teaches you how to set goals. There's even a goal tracker in there, progress tracker in there, a habit tracker in there, everything that you need to get you started. So if you want to go get one for yourself, the link is in the description, and I have a promo code for 50% off just for you guys because I love you so much and I want you to grow into the best versions of yourself. With that, I will see you in the next video. Mwah.